So thank you everyone for joining today. Everybody who's here, we're just doing a little bit of a webinar on content marketing and LinkedIn for authors. April has volunteered her services to educate us all, in the group that we have. One of the main things that I'm trying to do here, along with my other admin, Catrice, is to, provide some resources for authors, and, resources and support and things like that. And so this is one of the ways that I'm doing that, by asking people who have some expertise in the group if they want to do any type of presentations on their knowledge. Hopefully you can get some business recommendations from that. And you can also use these videos for your own purposes, because I will be recording them. And so again, that's what we're doing today. So today we have April, who is our presenter for today. She has a lot of experience in a lot of different areas when it comes to this. It sounds to me like you were kind of doing this stuff before you got into like writing your own book now. So if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit, your experience, things like that, and then we can jump right into the question that you asked about where everybody is.
All right. Yeah. So again, my name is April Hamm, and I've actually done a lot of work in marketing and market research for other people and for companies, for startups, as well as large organizations. Now, of course, coming up through like the 90s and early 2000s, digital marketing is kind of new. Like I would say it's really kind of taken off over the past 10 years or so. Like in the, late 90s, early 2000s, the internet was just really becoming a thing. But, it's been exciting for me because I've really kind of been able to be at the forefront, really learn about things as they come along. And, I've been able to do a lot of the experimenting before now. So, and so I really have gotten to see what works, what doesn't work, what works in which situations and so forth, because a lot of times what I see happening is that individuals try to use strategies that corporations are using that's really successful for them, but that, we as individuals don't necessarily have the bandwidth to carry out. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you today are not things that, I would necessarily share with Coca-Cola or with a university or say like even a large nonprofit, but things that I've seen really work for us as individuals, what I've seen work for other authors, and that as I start to work on my own book, that I'm definitely implementing as I go along for myself. So today, before I kind of jump right in, I'm going to share my screen and really kind of go through things hands-on. But before we do that, I do want to just kind of get a feel for who's on with us today, where you are in your book marketing process, if you're just getting started writing, if you're just getting started marketing, just kind of where you are. And if you can just kind of give me an idea when you go of like any questions you have or anything that you're really hoping to get out of it today. And then certainly as we go along, please do use the chat. I've got the window open over here. I may not be able to see it while I'm sharing my screen, but I'll be checking it because I definitely want to make sure that I answer any burning questions you have today. And then anything we don't cover, I'll be sure to share in the group. So definitely let me know either now and or as we go along, what questions you have, anything that you're currently working on that you maybe, want feedback on, anything like that. We'll try to work it in today, but definitely put it in the chat so that if we don't get to it, we can kind of cover it back in the Facebook group. Yes, Sage, I think you're on mute. Are you saying something?
Yeah, so I will be checking the chat as well. Okay. So I don't want you to feel like you got to be juggling so many things with two hands. So I'll be checking the chat, and of course people can ask their own questions, but if they put it in the chat, I might ask you and say, hey, this is in the chat, and then I'll address, put the question out there too. So don't worry about having to pay attention to that so much. But it looks like Annette has her hand up, so I'll let her go first as far as answering your questions.
All right, greetings. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Fine. How you doing?
Man, it's It's been a whirlwind. So to kind of answer, first of all, thank you guys so much, especially you two, April and Sage. Like you guys have been like responding to my stuff, liking shit. Like you guys have been on it. That has been so helpful, motivational. Just even though I haven't even started my book launch yet, just what I have received from all of you all in there has been very, very helpful. So thank you for this platform. So where I'm at, I know I posted, I literally just got all my books. This is my first book ever. So it's been an exciting journey, but you know, as you know, now the work starts. So I'm literally, as I am listening to this meeting, I have my whole little workshop going up. I'm getting my books, my stickers, my book signing, my bookmark, you know, I'm getting all that together so I can send out, you know, all of the women who are a part of my book launch. I'm trying to get you guys out. I think the post office is closed on Monday for the holiday, but I'm gonna try to get them out on Tuesday. At least I just bought like 12 bubble mailers to get out this first batch to you guys. And then my bulk orders coming in, I think Thursday. So I'm just in the process of getting my labels done, setting up my Amazon. Like, you know, I finished my marketing material. I'm updating my my website so that my store can go live. So I'm in the throes of just, you know, smashing things out. As far as feedback and questions, I guess mine are just more basic. I mean, I know that this Zoom call is to kind of get some more feedback on marketing tips, especially as it relates to LinkedIn. I am looking for more support, assistance, skill set, because this is my first time doing anything like this. I feel like I have a half decent process I got going on, but I'm always open to feedback. If you're able to give me feedback on my post that I posted, kind of just breaking down my book launch that's happening next Sunday. If you want to, or if you're available, I can send you my 4 marketing materials that I've created already, so you can maybe give some feedback. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you guys so much for listening, and again, for all your support.
Okay,
No
excellent.
problem, thanks. Yeah.
And then a quick question, Annette, when you talk about your marketing materials, where are you specifically planning to post those online?
So it's going to be posted. My main places are my, my personal and my book launch page on Facebook, as well as my personal and book launch page on Instagram. I recently started using Twitter, but it's not, you know, I'll throw it up there, but it's not a big like, hey, you know, I don't have a big audience over there. So those would be my main places. I do have LinkedIn, which I'm starting to use a little bit more frequently, so I'll post it on there as well. But my mains are going to be my Instagram and my Facebook.
Okay, gotcha. All righty. And okay, so that's really good to know. And
I can answer your question as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I wrote my book before. I basically wrote it and put it on the shelf. Just recently, I have a lot of kids, so I kind of had to put it on hold, but my kids are getting older now and going back to school, so I'm starting to bring things back out, revise them. I've never been that great. Like, I'm great with graphic design. I'm great with writing. I'm great with organizing. But when it comes to marketing, I feel like I'm drowning with all the stuff that you need to do. You have to do. What do you pay for? What do you not pay for? It's just a lot of information and a lot of avenues, and I'm not quite sure which ones to use. I do have Facebook. I have Instagram. I have my podcast, a little bit of a platform. And so right now I'm in the process of kind of revising my nonfiction book. I want to have it out by the summer, and I am really like intimidated when it comes to marketing. And so it's like, okay, I'm getting stuff ready, but at the same time, I'm not sure exactly what to do once it's ready and how to really use social media in the way that I know it can be used to kind of do that. So that's kind of where I am. Like, I know a little bit of stuff. I have, with the group that we have now, I took a book launching course. It was almost $1,000, which I'm incorporating a lot of those things in the group to kind of support other people when it comes to launching their books. And I am going to use some of those same things as well. But I just always feel like there's so much more I can learn. There's so much more I can be doing. And I'm not sure I don't want to waste my time doing things that are not going to work. So if somebody can kind of give me some answers and some shortcuts to refine that whole process, I'm all ears for that. So that's where I am.
All right, cool. All right, who's next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Okay, well, I am with Sage. We all started from, was it the Authors Network? What was that?
Black
Yeah,
Authors Network.
We actually came from Black Authors Network, and
Okay.
we kind of met on there, and I had this idea that I wanted to go ahead and try to start something that would help to put more eyes on everyone when they go through their process of, the whole process altogether. But more so to have support for book launching. I have written my first book, and I'm currently in the process of, well, I'm just doing the book covers right now. I just got finished approving my edits. So the next step for me is also going to marketing. So I've been speaking with Sage, and I've been telling Sage, I'm kind of a personal person. I don't like, to be out there on social media and things of that nature. So, I mean, I have Facebook, I have TikTok, I have Instagram, but Instagram I really don't touch as much. But like I said, I more so gravitate towards Facebook and TikTok. But like Sage and Miss Annette, also, I would like to try to figure out how to come out of that shell more so and be able to figure out, what outlets to use and how to utilize them, just the same.
Okay. All right. And so you finished your first book and now you're working to start marketing for the second one, or marketing for the first one?
For the first one.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And when do you plan to launch? Is it like sometime soon this year?
No, it's going to be this year, but I'm looking towards Mother's Day.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. And who's next?
I guess I'll go next then.
All right. Hey, Lindy.
Hey, April. Yeah. So before I start, I really just want to echo what Annette said, just in terms of just really sharing gratitude to Catrice and to Sage for starting this platform, giving us an opportunity for all of us to connect and to support one another. So yeah, I'm really, really thankful for that. In terms of your question, so I previously published a memoir, and then I just recently published on Friday my debut fiction book. And I'm kind of in the throes now of trying to market that and get that out there. And by the way, thank you so much to everyone on the call. Thank you, Catrice. Thank you, Sage. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
April, and everyone else for the help on Friday and on Saturday, just on the launch. I feel it went very well. So appreciate all the support that I got. Yeah, and so now it's just really a matter of me just kind of, trying to push that momentum through, right? And carry that out to other platforms, I'd say beyond Facebook. That's why I'm really quite keen to hear more in terms of how I can leverage LinkedIn in order to market my book. I've predominantly been using it for professional networks. Haven't used it that much for my writing. I mean, I've had a couple of things profiled on there for my writing, but I think I'd love to learn how to do that much more effectively, because most of the people that I'm connected to have just really been folks that I've worked with. So it would be great to hear, like, how do I expand beyond that to reach others? And then I'm also working on growing sort of my presence on BookBub, Goodreads, making sure I'm advertising on there, advertising on Amazon. I'd never done that before with my previous book. So I was working in big tech and was just way too busy to do anything to really market the previous book. And considering how busy I was, it was actually, surprising that it did reasonably, I guess, well-ish. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just learning from you and hearing how I can leverage LinkedIn to market my book. Thanks so much.
All right, sounds good. And then do we have one more?
There was a
hello.
person here. Oh, I'm not sorry. I know I'm going to butcher this name. Ola Jumoke.
Olajumoke, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Oh, it's sweet afternoon over there, but it is evening over here. I was looking through the Facebook page because I'm doing a course at the uni in creative writing. I am actually writing a book. Yeah, I did have issues with marketing, so I'm actually here to learn so I can know how to process myself from there onwards.
All right. And then Olajumoke, do you
Yeah.
have a book that you have completed or that you're starting, or are you just sort of brainstorming at this point?
No, I do have a book I'd written and it was published, but I published it with a website here in UK.
Okay.
And the process of marketing didn't actually work out for me because I thought they were doing the marketing. But as an indie writer, there's so many things you need to know that I obviously do not have any clue about. So I believe I'll be here. I'm right here to learn and to do all of that.
All right, sounds good. And then we have Kara on the line. Now, Kara, are you on?
Yes, I'm on. I'm just an April Hamm fan and, happy to get any information that I can. I know that it's going to be, something that's just really worthwhile. And even though I don't have a book at this point, it's something that I'm considering doing in the future as far as a cookbook that tells my family history. So I'm very excited to be here, and I just want to listen and learn as much as possible.
All right. Okay. And I'll just share. So Kara has a seasoning company. So she has a seasoning product. And I'm encouraging Kara to do a book of any kind, whether it's about, the family history, cook recipes, but books are a great way to market your company, not just, for the sake of having a book itself, although that's of course wonderful too. So, and so our books have many functions. A lot of us, when we write our books, especially if it's like a memoir or something like that, or even if it's a work of fiction, it's like, oh, I've birthed this baby, I did it, and we feel a very personal connection to it. But this book is basically a product, right? And it really can work for us. It can really have a life of its own outside of being our baby, right? And so if you have a business, if you offer services, if you have other products, if you have other books, each book on its own, it has a job to do, right? And your job, whether you are self-publishing or working with a publisher, you still have the job to do some of the marketing. You don't even need to do all of the marketing, even if you're self-publishing, but your job is simply to make sure that the book can be successful in the life that it has, almost like really like it's your child, right? You have a child, you want to send it off to school, make sure it has food, shelter, all of the basics, right? You're going to do the same thing for your book baby. And so just like with parenting, we can't do everything that we might want to do for our child. So like you might want to send your child to a certain school, but maybe it's too far, or maybe it's a private school and it's just out of your budget, or maybe I don't know, you've got to relocate for work and you can't send your child to that school anymore. But you're going to do the best you can. You're going to send your child to whatever school is the best that you can send your child to. Things like that. Same thing for your book. You might want to do all the marketing. You might want to do all the things, right? But some of it's going to cost a lot of money that's going to be out of your budget. Or some of it, you're just literally one person, you can't do it all, right? So I like the way that Sage described the challenge she's having, because that's basically how I'm hoping to help you, which is to kind of help you to narrow down the options to best utilize your personal time and energy and resources, right? You don't want to spend a lot of money on something that is going to take 2 years to really get anything out of, or that, you know, you just personally can't manage yourself. So let's dig in. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And before we get to LinkedIn, so I don't have slides today, but what I'm going to do is after today is that I'm going to send you just a handout with everything that we've covered. And I just kind of really wanted today to be really sort of hands-on. So if you're at your computer, I'm going to ask you to, not this second, but you know, either your computer, or like if you have a second device, a tablet, I'm going to give you some exercises to do as we go along. So when we think about content marketing, and actually let me ask you this question. If you can use your reactions inside of Zoom, if you can give me a thumbs up if you know what content marketing is. You don't have to share the definition, but if you think you have a good idea of what it is, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. And if you are not sure what content marketing is, or you're not sure how you can use it to promote your book, give me a heart sign. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of briefly do this, but this is helpful so that I can send extra resources to the people who need the more background. But I won't go into it a lot today. But basically, the content marketing, content literally just means text, images, video, anything that is that people can consume. But now, when we really talk about content marketing online, what we really are thinking about are tangible places that people can go online, or tangible assets that people can engage with that actually lead them to purchasing your products, which for you guys is your book. And so what we want to do is to put as much content out there that we can personally, physically get out there, but then link it all together so that it's kind of like an ecosystem that once people kind of get into this ecosystem, they can follow the trails and always have a way to get back to your product. Now, a lot of people will talk about your website and how important your website is, but I mean, at the end of the day, a solo author website is just not going to have that much traffic no matter what you're doing, right? So we really want to take advantage of some of these other sites, to draw traffic to our website, but primarily use, you know, to increase awareness that our product or our book exists, and so that they really get to feel close to our product and really get to know us, know the book, know something about it, so that they feel a strong desire to purchase it, right? Because we don't want them to just know about it. We ultimately want sales. And so the things I'm gonna go over with you guys today, the goal is partly awareness, you know, that's always a goal in marketing, but towards the end where it really turns into sales, because we can't really afford to just, you know, put all this effort into marketing without at some point having some sales to get some, you know, returns, because maybe at some point we do want to invest and pay for some software, pay for somebody to help us. Okay, so before we get to LinkedIn, I want to share the 3 places that I think we should invest in. And when I'm saying invest, I mean like time, effort, energy in our content marketing outside of your website. Meaning, if you have a website or not, these 3 places you need to have some content there. And some of you, you know, I've kind of looked, you know, into your stuff, I can see that you've gotten a start on some of these places. But those 3 places are going to be LinkedIn, of course, Medium, and Quora. So give me a thumbs up if you do not have a LinkedIn account set up. Okay, so everybody at least has an account. Give me a thumbs up if you have not logged into your LinkedIn account in the past 30 days. Okay, all right, good. So a lot of people actually have logged in. Some people haven't, because you probably have no idea what to do when you get there, or you're like, you know, this is not the best use of my time, or whatever. Okay, no problem, totally understandable. Okay, now give me a thumbs up if you log into LinkedIn and you know what to do when you get there, and you know how to really maximize your time spent on LinkedIn. Okay, not anybody. Don't worry. My hope is that when you leave here today, you know at least 3 things you can do when you log in. Okay. All right. Now, speaking of the other platforms, give me a thumbs up if you have heard of Medium, if you've ever been on there either to read or to write, and or you have a Medium profile. I know at least 1 person here. Okay, good. 2, 3. Okay, so okay, a few people. Okay, excellent. Now give me a thumbs up if when you log into Medium, you know what to do to make the best use of your time as an author promoting your book. Okay. Now, same thing with Quora. Give me a thumbs up if you have heard of Quora, if you've ever logged in, if you've used it for any reason. Okay, a few people. Okay, so, all right. Now, okay, so basically, here's the number 1 thing. For all 3 platforms, we're gonna have our profile that says, I'm an author of such and such a book. That's the easiest thing we can do, is simply, you know, to have our profile up to date so people know that we're an author and what our main thing is that we're selling. All 3. Now, of course, this applies to social media as well, but you know, we're trying to get some sales here, and these are places where people go with an intent to buy, right? So, so we definitely want to do that. Number 2 is if you have a website. This is the easiest part right here. If you already have a website and it has content about your book or your product on it, all you have to do is copy and paste into these platforms, because there's each one, well, LinkedIn and Quora have a sort of header about description space with, I'm just gonna say 1,500 characters or so. And so anything that is about you, about your product, that goes in that space there, right? Medium, the about part is very short. It's more like Twitter, but you can make the article, right? But the whole point here is literally you're just copying and pasting. Now, give me a thumbs up if you get a knot in your chest, or you're like, wait a minute, copy paste. If you have heard that there's some sort of penalty for copying and pasting online, give me a thumbs up if you've heard that, or if you're concerned about copying and pasting from your website to other sites. Okay, give me a heart if you hear copy paste from your website and you think, oh great, that's going to be so easy. Okay, good. So, but just to address that, so there is, you know, in thinking about, you know, ranking on Google search and things like that, what we don't want to do is have a lot of duplicate content all over the internet that's not linked together. Google doesn't know what to do with that. You know, Bing doesn't know what to do with that. But in terms of indexing, it's basically it's basically a there. I mean, it's basically library technology. And so all you have to do is everywhere you copy this content is just say, originally posted at mygreatwebsite.com. And guess what? You've not only taken care of the indexing issue, but you've also let people know, hey, I have a home base and this is where you can find it. It saves them the trouble of having to, like, you know, find your, you know, itty bitty website out there in the universe of millions of authors, right? Because it's on LinkedIn or Medium or Quora where they already are, but they can bookmark it. They can then click over to your site and so forth. And then that saves you the effort. You don't have to do any advertising because you've already reached people where they are organically. Okay, so those are the two like easy things you can do on every platform, right? Okay, the final thing is where you're gonna get to do a little bit of work, which is that, and you may already have it done, in which case this is really easy too. But this is the sort of promotional, informational, educational content around your product, your book, or your you know, seasoning, or whatever it is that you're selling. So when you have your articles on LinkedIn, on Medium, your answers on Quora, you are providing a solution to people, right? You may have heard about this, right? Like, you know, people have a problem, you want to be the one to solve it, and when you solve it, you want them to buy your solution. So let's say that your book is about, I'm going to use Lindy as an example, is about, you know, what was life like during apartheid? Let's say somebody's Googling to find that out. They're researching for a class, or they're just interested. They had a relative, who knows why they're looking it up, but that's what they're searching. You want people to know, hey, you know what it was like to live during that time, and you've written a book about it. But you don't want to necessarily sell your book every time. You know, like, you know, people who are searching that may not find it on Instagram, they may not find it on Facebook, but, you know, they want to kind of get some, you know, kind of get deep in there. And so a post isn't really, if, you know, even if the post shows up in search, that post isn't going to answer the question for them. They want to kind of, you know, like have some longer form content. And that's the purpose of these spaces, right? So you can copy from your website if it's already there. You can copy from the book. But, you know, this is where you're kind of giving people a chance to try before you buy, right? So that they can kind of read a little bit of what your style is, what you're saying, is it relevant to them or not? And they can really kind of make a decision before getting to your product and then deciding, oh, this isn't what I thought it was, or I actually don't want this. This isn't going to solve my problem. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Good. Excellent. Okay. You guys are on top of things. So let's go on ahead. Before I move on, does anybody have any questions? All right.
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Kara.
Just for people who may not know, like what these types of, like what they should do as far as, let's say if they're talking about the book or giving a short excerpt, what kinds of information should be included? Are there any places that offer templates or things like that, so that you can have something nice and concise?
Mm-hmm. That is a really good question. I don't know of any templates offhand, but I'm going to make a note to look for it. And if I don't find it, I'll just make one.
Can I attempt to answer that question here?
Yeah, go ahead, Sage.
Yeah, you can. So you're talking about maybe a synopsis for your book, or just different, like what April was talking about, as far as like your description in your social media or those type of accounts, to describe yourself, like exactly what are you trying to have a concise
Well,
thing?
what I was thinking, like if I post something on Instagram, let's say, it's going to be different than what I would post on LinkedIn. Or if Quora, like, you know, it has a certain quorum, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
If it has like a certain vibe, or, you know, what kinds of things should I talk to them about that I might not talk to some other
Okay.
platform in
Yes.
the same way? And so, like, is there a template that might help to make
Yeah.
my
I
main
get-
points that I need to get across easier?
Yeah. You gonna say something, April? I mean, this is
Yeah,
where I was,
okay.
go ahead.
Okay, so a couple things. First of all, so Kara, so since I do follow you on Instagram, I can tell you that the content you share on Instagram actually will work really well on these other sites too, because the content you're posting on Instagram is actually longer form than what most people post. It's great, um, but like, for example, when you post about moments in Black history, you know, stories from your family history, stuff like that are things that, you know, is like, I mean, I'm not sure if you noticed, but like, you know, Instagram is mostly just the images, like, you know, maybe it has a one-line caption. So I personally, and I know a lot of people do too, really love when there's actual content to dig into, right? But generally, that type of content does really well on Medium, LinkedIn, and Quora. So when you're asking about the format, because each one is a little bit different, I'll tell you the only thing is Quora is Q&A. Somebody has asked a question. Your job is to find the question that matches the answer you have. So like, let's say someone's question is, how did the hush puppy get its name? Oh, you already have the answer to that, right? And you've already written it, you shared it on Instagram, you can literally copy and paste. And what I love about your post, Kara, is that you shared not only your opinion of what was most likely, but you shared some other theories and why you thought they were strong or weak or whatever. So I mean, it was actually very comprehensive information. And so you know, Instagram is okay, you know, but I think that you'll really get good traction with that type of content on the places where people are already going for long form textual content. Does that make sense? And does that answer your question?
That's a great answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That really helps me a lot.
Okay. And then
Thank
Sage, are you
you.
gonna add, do you want to add anything? You're welcome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I have taken like so many classes, it's ridiculous. I'm a very big class person. Every time you turn around, I'm taking classes. And so some things that I've learned is that number one, you don't necessarily have to change your content for each platform to appeal to the people on those platforms. You just have to put what you offer out there so that those people on those platforms that are interested in what you have, they know where to go. So you don't necessarily have to, I guess you want to say, reinvent the wheel for every platform. You just put yourself out there on that platform. So people like, okay, I'm interested in that and she has that. So I wouldn't look at it like you have to like cater to every platform a different way. Another thing that I have learned as far as creating content is, which is what April was talking about, as far as like always having something where people can come back to you. I'll have that long form on my website, but then you can take pieces of what you have maybe on your website, which is longer, take pieces of that and put that on other sites, and put that on other sites. When you come to the copy and paste, it doesn't have to be the whole thing. You can take pieces of what you've already written and then put in the different spaces where it will fit best. And it's nice to have that to kind of draw from instead of having to rewrite something every single time you're on a different platform. You can just pick different pieces. And then even after some time has passed, which is another trick I've learned, you can reuse the same stuff. You can just word it differently or change the sentences around, but just where you can kind of keep having, I guess you can say, fresh content or the appearance of fresh content without necessarily having to do something different and new and create from scratch every time. So that's just what I wanted to say about that.
Okay, that's great. That's great. That's very helpful. Thank both of you. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Okay. And thank you, Sage, for jumping in. So let's look at some examples, as we can see exactly what we're talking about here. Okay, so can
Really
you see my
quickly,
screen?
Yeah,
Yes.
really quickly, April, I know you talked to me before about the time, so I'm just reminding you of that because you mentioned this to me before, being a little
Yep.
bit of a timekeeper here, so that's it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so just really quickly, let's look at, okay, sorry. Okay, I meant to have this all pulled up. Okay. And- Okay. So just really quickly, I've typed in a publication called Illumination. They're on Medium. They don't have a website. The guy who started uses his personal business book author site. But you see, when I type in Medium Illumination, some different things come up. And one of the things that comes up is Quora. Are there any easy ways to get into Medium publications like, I think they're saying like Illumination. Somebody else says, why do you write for Illumination on Medium? Okay, and so we want the same thing to happen with your book, with you, with your name, with each one of your books. And so you see how all these sites are linked. It's not like a big, secret or anything. I mean, basically, the people who start these companies, Medium, Reddit, Quora, so forth, they, just have a good understanding of backlinking, and they've got the money to really, outsource to get it all done. But that's basically what we want to happen. Now, the one thing I will disagree with Sage on is about the copy paste. Yes, we're going to repurpose and have it changed up so that we put different things in different places all the time. And you really will never run out of things, right? Like if you've already finished a whole book, if you have a website, if you've been posting on different social media on Facebook or Instagram, you've already got more than enough, right? But what I am also saying is that there are some things that, yes, you want to literally copy paste the whole thing. And I'm going to show you where you want to put those things. So, okay, I'm going to try to be quick about this. Okay, so I've got Quora here. This is someone, she's author, book coach, speaker. This is kind of the type of name that you want to have. You want to let people know, hey, I've got a book. What I also recommend, especially if there's a book that you're currently promoting or a product you're currently promoting, to go ahead and put that in your headline as well. Where this person is failing is that they literally don't have anything posted. I'd be very interested to know, what is her book? What's it called? What does the cover look like? Right? And like the synopsis, if there's any quotes about it. Like Lindy, when she did her launch, she sent us 3 testimonials. That was really good. That all works really well to go on these sites. And really, it can go in one long post, because that's why people are here, because they want to read, like more in depth. So I'm going to go to another page here. Okay, this person doesn't have a book yet, but you can kind of get an idea of how this profile is going to really work for him once he's ready to, launch his book. So he's got, in his headline, he's got some different answers that he's written. He does sports massage. So he's, really built his content around sports, and also, of course, around massage therapy. Like, what is it? How do you pay for it? He's got his logo on there. This must not be the right profile. This is not his right profile. I'm sorry, Amy. Oh, it's this one. Okay. But same thing. I think he was trying to switch profiles or something. But you can see that he has 98 answers. Now he didn't write these overnight. But just over time, that's what he has. You can see this is from 2 years ago. He writes about some things that are in the news, but with everything, of course, he links back to his other answers and back to his website. And, and he talks about his practice. Okay, so he's answering a general question. What's a good process for determining who is a good sports massage therapist in my city? When he's ready to do his book that says, I don't know, how to find the best sports massage therapist in your city, he's got, somewhere where he can, he's already written this, he can go in and link it in here. But you can see how it's very long. I don't think this is on his website, but he's got a website, he's got a blog. It should be on his website, but I'm not sure. But but this is just, I wanted to show as an example. This is what's considered a very good answer. It's got pictures. It answers the question in depth. It's kind of a listicle, 1, 2, 3, 4. But at the same time, even though it's a general question, he subtly or not so subtly, depending on how you look at it, makes it about himself and his practice. Like, he's got somebody from that he worked on. You know what I mean? So same thing with your book. You find these questions. Obviously, people aren't asking about your book yet or about you and your bio yet, but you take that generic question, and when you add specific examples, make them about you, your book, a character from your story, stuff like that. So just, this, I'm just kind of quickly going over these things to hopefully you can kind of, as you're imagining, how can I use this for myself, that you get some ideas. And then in a future workshop, if you guys want to, then we can go do like a deeper dive into something like this. Or, you can talk to me about possibly either working one-on-one or something like that. Okay, so that's Quora. People ask questions. You are an expert on something and you give them the answer. Okay, now, then Medium, people aren't asking questions, but they pay $5 a month to read. Like, they want to read stories, they want to read self-help, they want to read a lot. And then the other thing that I wanted to share Medium with you is because if you haven't started your book yet, or if you're starting on your next book project, it's a really good place to sort of blog as you go. And so that's what I'm doing with my memoir, is that, rather than just writing it in Word and keeping it to myself for 20 years or however long till I finish, I'm just banging out a chapter at a time so that I can build an audience, so that by the time that I actually, launch on Kindle or, in stores or wherever, I've already got people who have, read a few chapters and they're excited and they're going to buy it right away. A, but B, guess what else I also have? I've got feedback where people are telling me, oh, that's so funny. Or, oh my God, thank you for sharing. That's so brave. Or, oh my God, that happened to me, and, and I've gotten a lot of really good, like almost like testimonials. And so when that's not where I'm going to go, sorry. And so when I'm ready to pitch to publishers, if I decide to go that route, or just ready to, to launch online, myself, I've got a lot of really good testimonials already. I don't have to wait until I publish and try to get early readers and so forth. I've been building that as I go along. Now, another thing that I could do is, of course, set up my pre-sales page and get people to send in money and so forth. That just adds an extra level of management that I'm personally don't have bandwidth for right now, but obviously I do recommend that people do that. If you have people to help you, or if you can do it yourself, you've got bandwidth for that, then that's great. And some of you, of course, have read some of the stories. Thank you very much. I just want to show you. So I created the press release here, and I published it in a publication that has a lot of readers, which is Illumination. What I'll do also is I'll make a list. If you do decide to branch out into Medium, I know Lindy has a couple of stories here already. If you want to, continue to build, you can, of course, just publish under your own name. You can have your own publication. In my case, I'm using the publication as my book, basically. So like my book lives in publication April, right? But because nobody knows I exist, a handful of people, but, initially you want to publish with established publications that already have tens of thousands of readers, and especially the ones where that the editors try to help, by, cross-posting on different social media, where you're not really doing it all yourself. So I published this one with Illumination. What I love about Medium is people can highlight, they can leave comments and so forth. I link back to the publication that actually has, all the stories in it and so forth. I've got, a couple people commented 721 claps. Now, if you're not familiar with Medium, you see this and you think, oh, wow, almost 1,000 people have clapped for this. But of course, I spilled the secret in our group, which is that you can clap up to 50 times. And so, it's really helpful, if you're like an insider and that we clap a lot for each other, because people who are just readers, who are readers and not writers on this platform, they usually clap once. If they clap more than that, it's by accident, because they don't even know this feature exists. But so, a lot of times these vanity stats, these kind of vanity metrics really help you out in the beginning. And then I just wanted to share one other one on Medium that I think is a good example. Let's see. I want to go to my profile. I'm on the desktop version. I'm always on my phone or my tablet, so forgive me. I'm like, okay, where are my stories? Okay, I see. Okay, so here I basically put together as a story, or article, a collection of basically testimonials that I had gotten so far up to that point. This was a year ago, so I called it Global Praise for New Memoir, Trauma and Triumph. I don't know what the title's going to be, but it is a memoir. The people who gave me this praise are from all over the world, so I'm not lying here. And then I say, or kind words from people on the internet. And so I just basically give the quotes. Brave girl, I commend you, blah blah blah. Some people actually had feedback based on specific stories, so I linked to the story that they commented on. Beautiful tribute, this is so important, looking forward to it. You're insightful, what a brave story. I feel exactly what you're saying, blah blah blah. And but you see, Medium, if you're not familiar with reading on here or publishing here, it really has a very beautiful formatting. I mean, it's like, for me personally, I see this and I'm like, oh, I love reading here. Now, different writers will, kind of make theirs look differently. I'm personally like a paper pencil person. I like the black ink on the white background. I think it just looks good and it's more accessible to read. But anyway, all this is just to kind of give you some ideas of how you can use this platform for your existing book or your book in progress. Really quick before I move on, any questions or comments?
Yeah, so this is really, I mean, like, wow, I'm even, I've gotten more than I expected to get when I even started the idea of doing this. I have learned a lot. Like, again, it's like so much information out there, you're not sure which avenues to go in. So I know so much stuff, but it's really good to be learning something new, and I'm really excited to be learning something new. So, but my question is, because I didn't know that much about Medium, like I have my own website, my own blog, things like that. But, and I've heard about Medium, but I didn't know as much as I know about it now, and I'm definitely going to be using it. But I did know about Quora. And so my question is about Quora. Like when it comes to, you know, going in Quora and answering questions and things like that, and I'm just going to be honest, other people might be thinking it seems very tedious. And it's one of the reasons why I didn't really get into it. Like I tried to go on Quora and I was on my phone. It is just really looked like it's a lot. It was difficult to figure it out. But I, you know, was able to kind of get it going. But then I didn't know, okay, should I be joining groups? Am I doing my own thing? Like you kind of need a tutorial to figure out Quora if you're not on there. And so just answering questions here and there and stuff like that, it sounds tedious and time consuming, but I know that when you are getting into, especially doing your own marketing, sometimes those things are just unavoidable. And it's kind of like a grassroots things where you just keep at it until it grows. Is that kind of like the thinking when it comes to Quora? Because I'm sure you're not going to get a lot of, you know, traffic just from, you know, in the beginning, you know.
Okay, so I'm going to say absolutely not, because there are a lot of people who've already done that kind of, you know, manual digging and stuff. But I'm going to say, first of all, that the shortcut is write the questions yourself.
Okay.
And when you start writing the question, you will be able to tell if it's already been asked. If it's already been asked, just click on it and answer it. If it hasn't been asked, go ahead and create a new question and just answer it yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the shortcut. I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's see. So these are questions that I've answered, and again, this is over years, not like, you know, in a day or anything.
Yeah.
Let's see, but there's one that I know for sure I wrote myself. Here it is. In epidemiology, what is the logical relationship between incidence and prevalence in public health? Now, nobody's asking this question this way. It was literally just an exercise. On this platform, people have asked, what's the difference between incidence and prevalence? That is a highly searchable question. You know, a lot of people, you know, when they're taking, you know, introductory epidemiology or intro stats or whatever, like this is a definitely a common question. I just wrote it in this way because I had a particular way I wanted to answer it. And so I did that. So I wrote this question myself. Sometimes you do that and you've got people on Quora who will kind of go behind and be like, oh, that's the same question as this other one, and they'll merge the questions. It doesn't matter. Your content is there. People can find it. Now, I'm going to give you one more shortcut, and this is the perfect segue because I wanted to bring you to this other site. Are you guys familiar with Answer the Public?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So I like to use Answer the Public in conjunction with Quora, especially because this is going to tell you, I hate how this is so like annoying. Like good thing we don't have, well, I don't know anybody on the call, if you have epilepsy, trigger warning, like this is kind of a lot happening in their background, but okay. So let me see. So Sage, I know that you're doing a lot around life coaching right now. I'm just going to type in life coach. I'm going to set this, for some reason it's set on United Kingdom. I'm going to put it on United States. And we're just going to search. Now, Answer the Public on their pro version is very expensive. It starts at $100 a month. I do not recommend spending that money. You get so many free searches a month. So what I recommend is like open up open up a browser incognito, or like use something like DuckDuckGo or Tor where they're not tracking cookies. So if you've got, you know, more than one or two searches you need to do at a time, you know, just open up a different browser so that they're not, you know, tracking you. So there's they found 76 questions related to life coach. The questions are like, for example, can I life coach for myself? Can a life coach help me lose weight? When to get a life coach? When to hire a life coach? How to life coach book. Somebody's actually looking for a book about, I'm guessing that's how to become a life coach. Yeah, how to become a life coach. How much does it cost? How to life coach a teenager. How to find the best life coach. And that's so common. How to find the best XYZ, right? And so if you're trying to attract that type for yourself, then, you know, how to find the best XYZ, how to find the best seasoning, how to find the best life coach, how to find the best book about what it's like to live with apartheid, you know, then you should be ready with that answer, because obviously you're the best. Now, I mean, if you're like me, you're like, oh, well, I'm sure there's a lot of really great things out there. Maybe I'm not the best of the best, or who knows who's the best? I mean, who's asking, you know? But I mean, really, it's just, you know, internet speak, you know, we're all the best. So if there's a question about the best, the answer is you, right? Anyway, but so the cool thing is that you can download all this data. You can download it into a spreadsheet so that, you know, you can continue looking at it. You can save the little images that they created and download them. And the good thing about it is that for SEO purposes, in terms of, you know, really getting the language right for search, it basically gives you all the different ways people have asked the question. If they said, can I XYZ? Do I XYZ? Those details may become important for you at some point. So it's helpful to know. Also, there are comparisons: life coach versus wellness coach, coach versus mentor, coach versus therapist. And so if that's relevant, you want to answer those questions. So like, for example, Sage, if you're doing life coaching for relationships, for example, and let's say that there's a psychologist who does something similar, there's a wellness person who does, you know, and I mean, really, it's neither here nor there, but, you know, it's like you have these sort of big associations, you know, APA and this and that, you know, saying our way is the best way. You have to have a PhD, or you have to have license such and such, or, you know, if you have a certificate, you know, it had to have come from the such and such an institute, otherwise it's not valid, or that's a quack, you know what I mean? And so you want to just get out ahead of that, and this kind of gets into the PR realm, where you say, well, look, here's the difference between life coach and a psychologist, or between a life coach and a wellness coach, or a life coach and a social worker, or whatever. You know, they tend to work with this, and this. We tend to work with this, and this. Or, you know, in my practice, I specifically do XYZ, you know, and so you kind of answer the question broadly, where you're kind of helping them out so that they understand really there's no difference. But, you know, technically speaking, you know, here's how the psychologists define themselves. Here's how the Life Coach Institute defines it, you know, blah, 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 blah. In my practice, I do XYZ, and here's why you should hire me, right? Anyway, so all that is just to kind of save you some time. Go ahead, start with Answer the Public. Use the incognito mode so that you can do as many searches as you want to. And then go back to Quora, and let's just use that one as an example. Life coach versus, and let's just see what comes up. What's your honest opinion on seeking out a life coach versus a therapist? You could probably answer that question, right? So, you know, don't like spin your wheels trying to figure out, well, how to find the question, which, you know, just literally, you know, start with something like Answer the Public. Or if people have like asked you questions on, you know, in your podcast, or, you know, just, you know, so like questions that you just generally know of, go ahead and type those questions into Quora. And again, you know, if it's already there, answer it. If it's not, just add it as a new question. Did that answer your question, Sage?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it's good information. Now, I know you told me before that you had to be out by a certain time.
Yes.
Do you?
Thank you. Okay. And so,
I mean, we can definitely do a to be continued and have another part to this, because I am like learning a lot, and I really, really appreciate, you know, all the information that you're offering. And I do want you to put your services here, like if people want to know more from you, or like, I'm not sure how you structure your service as far as like your paid services, because some of the information you're sharing here is definitely worth some money. So so I want you to, you know, get that in there before we wrap up. And then if you want to do another session or whatever, because I don't want to mess up your schedule for today.
All right. Yes. So I don't want to not get to LinkedIn, since I did promise that. But basically, all of this leads up to literally everything that you've done thus far on Medium, on Quora, your website. You're just going to copy and paste it. So what I'm going to do really quick is just go to LinkedIn and just show you the places where you should put it. And again, like, you know, we're recording this, so you can, you know, fast forward to this part so you can see it. Also in the post in the group where it says copy paste your LinkedIn profile, I did, you know, provide some feedback on different people's posts. I'll also just make a worksheet and put that in the group that says, you know, put your book title here, 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 and here, put your book summary here, 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 and here, and so forth. I just want to quickly show it to you. And Lindy, I hope you don't mind, I'm going to use you as an example. So Lindy's got a really great looking profile. She's got a great photo. She's got a great background that has the name of her company in it. I'm presuming that this is the company where, you know, she associates her books with. So right away in her featured section, she's got the promo about the book that she just released, Rookie, which is her debut fiction novel. She's got some other articles that just kind of let us know who she is, what she's about. And, you know, she's got a whole bunch there. I'm presuming that at some point she's got one about her memoir, which, you know, knowing that it's dealing with life with apartheid. And then she's got the stuff about Black Lives Matter, Ubuntu. All of that really works well together. Now, when we go to her activity, this is where I'm going to, you know, suggest that everyone does this. So you've got activity, general activity, which is like you like so-and-so's post, you know, you celebrated this or that. But here's the stuff, articles, posts, and documents that really is where you get to highlight your stuff. So firstly, the articles, nothing to see for now. I'm going to also open up mine. I do have an article on here. It's not related to my book, but I just want you, you know, in case you're not familiar with the LinkedIn articles, I just want to show you that really quickly. My profile is not set up for my books just yet. I wasn't sure how I was going to use LinkedIn, but, you know, now that I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do books, great. But, you know, you want to definitely put it on creator mode. What creator mode does is it tells LinkedIn, I want people to follow me. I want people to know that I'm sharing content here. And so, you know, it just kind of gives the algorithm a little thing to kind of boost you just a little bit. It's not going to obviously do things for you, but, you know, it does help a little bit to have that turned on. I've got my featured posts here about things that I've been doing that are related to eventually when I, you know, decide to put the book on here. But let's see if you're going to, okay. So, I mean, sorry guys, I just, you know, it's like because these platforms are like targeting all different kinds of people, it's not like you can just log in and go directly to something that's relevant. But so the way that is easier for me is like you go to activity, it says see all activity, articles, post documents. So I have written a couple of articles, they show up here. Now, ideally, these articles will be about your books. Now, I've written a little bit about time management, having ADHD. When I have my book come out, it is going to have some stuff about my mental health, mental illness, all that stuff. So it will be relevant. But being that it's a professional network, I also did try to make it like, you know, something that professionals might look at. Like, you know, people aren't necessarily on here. You know, I mean, a lot of people will be interested to know my story. And I've done a lot of work to build my network and connections with people who will be interested. But at the same time, if random people find my thing, you know, oh, productivity tips, sure. Oh, productivity tips from someone with ADHD. Oh, cool, I've got that. Or my kid has that, or, you know, whatever. You know, or that's a different take on it. Anyway, so you definitely want to have your book content in the articles, what to put in the article. Of course, again, your summary of the book, some testimonials about the book, or, you know, like quotes from reviews, your author bio, link back to your website or the book sales page, you know, where can people buy your book and learn more, that kind of thing. So same thing as if you're posting anywhere else. It's just that this is definitely a place where even if people are searching in Google, LinkedIn articles actually rank in Google. So whereas, you know, Facebook posts, Instagram posts, if they're searching in Google, they may find that you have a profile on those sites, but they can't see inside those sites unless they actually log in, you know, and so forth. And so your content there, only people who are already on those platforms can see it, which is fine. Like, they have millions of billions of people too. But, you know, we want to show up in search, because when people are searching, they usually intend to buy something, you know, right? Like, they want to learn something and or buy something. So when they search, we want them to find your book. So that's a key reason why you want to definitely do LinkedIn articles. And then for within LinkedIn, you want to also post it a few more places. Let's see. So let's go back to the profile. I'm going to use Lindy's profile again. Okay. I'm going to go back to her main profile. So we've got the featured content up here. These could be like posts, links, different things. You can feature them up here so that when people go to your profile, the first thing that they see is about what you've got going on now. The next place I'm going to ask you guys to post your book content is under the experience, like it's a job, because guess what? It is a job, right? So let's say, like in Lindy's case, Chart of Creations, if that's where her books go, under this Chart of Creations experience, you want to add author as your title and put the name of the book, the summary of the book, the link, and the images, right? Because, you know, we want to both let the algorithm know, hey, you know, this page is, you know, this profile is all about this, and this. But when humans look at it, they want to see the pictures. So we want to put as much visual content in there as possible. And then the next place we want to put it is under publications. She's got Rookie here. She's got the description, a link to where it goes on her site. If you click on see publication, it should take you, you know, to the book. If you've got more than one book, you want to put all your books here, right? Under interests and so forth, if you've got a company page on LinkedIn, which I definitely recommend having one, is I would say it's kind of, I won't say there's neither here nor there. We can talk about that another time if that's something that interests you guys. I don't want you guys to spend a lot of time on that. If you have one, great. If you don't worry about it right now. But what I do want to say is that in your interest down here, you know, you don't want to have a lot of empty stuff, meaning like, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, like, you're not on LinkedIn a lot anyway, consuming content, so you really don't need to follow a lot of people. What is important is groups. You want to join groups kind of like on Facebook that have something to do with books, reading, you know, so forth, because you want to be able to go in and say, hey, I've published a new book, here it is, check it out. And, you know, maybe one or two people will go check it out. But I mean, you know, it's no worse than, you know, Facebook groups or anything like that. I'm in a bunch of groups. For the most part, I really can't say that, oh yes, this one's so helpful or anything like that. It can't hurt. If you don't have time, you know, I would say, you know, just go ahead, join a few. But I wouldn't say necessarily spend a lot of time, but it, you know, it is a good way to build connections. So even if it's not necessarily a place where you're making book sales, it is a good place where you might meet people who will want to connect with you or follow you and eventually buy your book. So that's kind of more just kind of on like that early stage marketing side. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my profile really quickly and show you the other places on your profile to mention your book. So we've got your headline, your like background header image, your featured content, the articles. And then, as I was mentioning, they've got the big header section. You've got like 1,500 words or something like that, 3,000 words, where you can talk all about yourself and your book. Now, I mean, I don't want you to, I mean, you want it to sound crafty and like not egotistical or anything, but I'm just saying, this is a place where you really can give the internet something to work with, is basically what I'm saying. Then, the job section, of course. Recommendations. If there's, if people tend to kind of stick with their preferred networks. So some people will want to leave you a review on Amazon. Some will want to leave it on Facebook. Some might want to leave it on LinkedIn. So that's fine. Now, I know some of us do still work. So, it's up to you whether you just use LinkedIn for, professional work, like job stuff. If you're pretty secure in your career, definitely, it won't hurt your job stuff if you start talking about your book, right? Publications, again, let's see, projects, that's the other one. Now, these are not books. Some of them I'm hoping will be a book eventually, but, go ahead, list your book title under your projects. This is another place where you can just tell the internet, hey, book, it's all about my book, right? And then the cool thing about the projects is that if you've worked with a team, this can be like your launch team. It could be an illustrator, an editor, anybody who's remotely related to your book project. You can add them as collaborators here. What does that do? Why is that important? Guess what? It opens up your profile and your book to those people's connections as well. So like, let's say you connect with me. I have at this point 3,600 followers. I worked really hard to build that up. Of course, you can always have more. I definitely want to get there. But, if you, like, let's say that you're starting out with, I don't know, 300 connections or something like that. It's definitely helpful to connect with people who have more, so that, let's say you've got 300 connections and you only know 10 of them personally. Maybe, you went to, school with some of them, but you haven't spoken in 30 years. They're not active on LinkedIn. Basically, they're just like you. They have an account and it just sits there. So you definitely want to make sure to link up with profiles that are more active, so that, let's say let's say I post, blah, 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 so-and-so's book, it's going to be more likely to get some traction than, say, on an account that, hasn't been active in a while. So I don't want to share this stuff with you like, oh, I'm so excited. Let me go. I'm going to go get on LinkedIn and Core and this and this and this. You're definitely not going. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to say that. Let's just say I don't want anyone to have unrealistic expectations about how it's going to work, how quickly, and so forth. But what I do want to say is definitely, there's no better time to start. Set up the profile, get your images on there, get your, book summary, your author bio, get it all on these profiles in the relevant spots. Make some relevant connections, help each other out. Let's share each other's stuff so that we can, build out. And, certainly over time, it will make a big difference for you. And, hopefully, in helping each other, it can make a difference right now. But definitely in terms of your own content, building it out, we all start somewhere, and, no better time than now. And again, and thinking about like omni-channel marketing, where, like there's a lot of pressure to be everywhere. That's really a big company thing, where you want to be on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and, but really that is sort of secondary. The number one place you need to be are on the sites that I mentioned, because those are the sites that are indexed by search engines like Google, like Bing. And so you want, so like the whole point of content marketing is not social media. Social media marketing is separate. Social media marketing doesn't necessarily help you in search engine results. So again, it's my opinion that, you want to be where people are searching with an intent to buy. I'm not saying don't do social media marketing. I'm just saying that that's sort of, something that when you're thinking about where to invest your time personally, you definitely want to put the time in where you're going to have the most return, right? And I'm going to stop sharing. When it comes to the social media marketing, you're going to share out the things from your website, share from Medium, share from LinkedIn, share within LinkedIn and so forth, share within Facebook, all of that. You're going to keep doing that. But, to the extent possible, you really want to automate that. That's not the best place to spend your time personally. You probably have gotten that feeling already if you've been doing it, right? And so that's all I had to share with you today. I know it was a lot in a short amount of time. Do we have any questions about what I covered, or any questions that you want me to, have ready for next time?
I just want to say thank you. That was a lot of great information. A lot of things I hadn't considered, a lot of things I didn't know. That core is new to me. You talk about the SEO and, like, man, fire. Like, I'm like doing 50 things at once, but I'm glad that I took the time to come in. Thank you so much for your time. I know this is part of what you do. So you providing this service pro bono is love. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, same here. I'm learned a lot. Even some things that I had learned before, but I kind of ignored them. Now you bringing them back to my mind, like giving them a second thought, like, oh, maybe I should do that. And so, because I'm kind of in a different place now than I was then. So, but yeah, really good information. I really appreciate you coming and sharing this. And like, can you talk a little bit before you go about what kind of services do you offer? Because I know even me, I can see myself wanting to reach out to you to get some more information, but I by no means will expect you to do this for free every time. So what kind of services do you offer?
Okay, so just really quickly, typically I have not done a lot of one-on-one with this. So I don't advertise it that way. However, for this group, I'm definitely open to it. Usually what I do, are kind of like small group trainings like this. And if you guys want to, I can maybe set up like just like sort of like a friends, family type of thing. If you want to do some one-on-one, I mean, like, so like for me, the thing is that a lot of this stuff really benefits all of us. So, for me, I think that the small group works, but if you did want to do one-on-one, just reach out to me and we can work it out. I am definitely willing to do as many of these, with our group, because I know that when I'm ready to do my book launch, I know y'all are going to help me out. So, it's like giving, receiving, all of that. So, I'm happy to share love. I'm happy to do as many of these, on Sundays or whatever.
Wow.
If you want to, meet outside of that, again, just reach out. We'll talk it out and work it out.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So does anybody else have any questions? I know we've been, April, your screen is still showing. I don't know if you meant to turn it off, but I don't want to hold people up, too much of you guys' time. I know it's a weekend and people have things that they want to do. So if you guys don't have any immediate questions, I will be posting this video in our group, and then you can ask questions, because I'm sure other people who were not here today might want to chime in and ask questions. So you can ask questions under the comments of this video. I will try to get it posted by the end of tomorrow. Other than that, I do kind of want to let you guys go. I know April said she had to do something as well. And so if you guys don't have any more questions or anything like that, we can go ahead and wrap this up. So anybody else?
No, just thank you so much, April. That was awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, someone asked, what were the 3 sites? They're LinkedIn.com, Medium.com, and Quora.com. Wow, and then the place to like kind of do some research to figure out, well, what questions are people asking? That's answerthepublic.com. Answer the public.
Yes,
Okay.
an eye-opening experience for me because this is
Catrice,
all
can you
new
hear
to
her?
me.
It's very blurry. Can
Yeah,
you
Catrice,
say
you're
that
breaking
again?
up. Catrice, looks like she went out. Maybe she'll ask it in the group. She went out. So, all right. So, I would like to end this. Thank you again so much, April. I really, really appreciate you offering all this information. And again, we can talk about setting something up for another time. But thank you, April. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And again, you'll get this video in the group by the end of tomorrow. So, class is dismissed.
Thank you,
All
Sage.
right. Thank you so
Thank
much, Sage.
you.
Thank you,
No
everyone.
problem. Bye-bye.
Sage.
Have a good rest of your weekend.
Yeah,
Bye.
Have a great one.
Bye.
Yeah.